You can fight your heart out and win the hard rounds, but if nobody's double tapping your clips, good luck skipping the line. That's the modern UFC. It's not sacrilege, it's the business. I'm Reggie Cross, and today we're going behind the lines of how title shots get minted in the era where the algorithm hits harder than a left hook. The question isn't who's the best, it's who moves the needle. And if that sounds more like showbiz than sport, well, welcome to the cage where hype has home field advantage. But if this is a business first, where does the sport fit? Let's define the rules of the game. Leagues crown the best, promotions sell the show. The UFC is a promotion. That's not an insult. It's a blueprint. The product isn't just fighting, it's moments people will pay to watch. That means rankings help the story, not the other way around. If demand spikes, the matchmakers nudge merit to the passenger seat and let marketability drive. Every era had this tension. Social media just puts it on a billboard. And you see it clearly when the quiet greats get told to speak up. Stipe Miocic did the hard part. Record defenses at heavyweight, scalps of icons, zero drama, day job as a firefighter, still heard some version of get more popular. If the most accomplished heavyweight in UFC history can be asked to grow his buzz before a shot, what chance does a soft-spoken contender with 3 decisions and a tucked-in polo have? The lesson was blunt. The belt lives at the intersection of excellence and interest. And if you lack the latter, you get a longer walk. Now and then, someone in the building even says the quiet part out loud. Corey Anderson earned his way with unsexy wins, beat names, outworked hype. Then came the moment. You deserve it. Your social media doesn't. That's a message not just to Corey, but to every fighter grinding the old way.
We can't give it to you because your social media isn't there. It's not about the best anymore. It's about who's going to put butts in the seats.
In this economy, attention is currency and the cashiers are counting followers. Is that fair? No. Is it explicit? More than ever. I don't blame the suit for protecting the business. I blame the fairy tale that says merit alone pays the tab. And when attention is currency, viral becomes a job title. Derrick Lewis cracked a one-liner that detonated across the internet.
I'm here with the winner, Derrick Lewis. Derrick, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot.
I understand.
And walked into a title fight on Fast Forward. He's got nukes in his hands, sure, but the speed of that booking wasn't just about the right hand. It was about the right moment. Johnny Walker, 2 million eyes on the gram, highlight reel energy, a dance floor between wins and losses. In the octagon, volatility is a flaw. On the timeline, it's engagement, and engagement buys opportunity. But this isn't new. The UFC has been running this playbook since the DVD era, only now the resolution is 4K and the refresh rate is ruthless. Make it big, make it fast. Brock Lesnar wasn't a slow burn. He was a rocket launch with a belt at the end. Came in with WWE star wattage, sprinted to Randy Couture, left with hardware. You can argue the resume, you can't argue the receipts. Chael Sonnen talked his way from middleweight drama to a light heavyweight title shot after a season of reality TV. Was he the most deserving? Not by the rankings, but he was the most watchable rival for Jon Jones at that moment. And Nick Diaz got the GSP fight amid a chorus of, but Johnny Hendricks? Sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the main event. Michael Chandler needed one signature KO in the right window. Hooker, boom, title shot. It wasn't luck, it was timing, and a resume built outside the UFC that the company could sell. Then the marketing belt, BMF, Masvidal vs. Diaz, a Madison Square Garden one-off that printed interest by the truckload. No number one contender drama, just vibes, violence, and a Rock cameo. And the Covington case. A long layoff, a style people love to hate, still walked into a title shot, like it or not. Being a walking pay-per-view poster has real value at the matchmaking table. Sean O'Malley is a masterclass in the business of stardom. He wins, he wows, he sells. UFC 299's gate was historic territory, and Dana didn't whisper his praise. He called him the biggest star at bantamweight. Paddy Pimblett, he polarizes the hardcores and charms the casuals, and his rank jumping without throwing a punch triggered a week-long sports talk scrum. Khamzat Chimaev, a rocket ship from the first bell, with the numbers and noise to match. The common thread is obvious. If you command a crowd before you touch gloves, the company will often meet you halfway to the title picture. So why does the promotion choose hype over hierarchy? Because the incentives say so. Loudly. Follow the money. In 2019, the UFC moved pay-per-view distribution in the US under ESPN+, locking in guaranteed money and a content cadence. That changed the math. A reliable rights fee cushions risk and rewards volume. Then in 2025, the next leap. A 7-year US rights deal with Paramount starting in 2026 that puts the full slate on Paramount Plus with select simulcasts on CBS and signals a shift away from traditional pay-per-view. Translation: the product has never been more platform-driven. Platforms want events that trend. Trending requires names. Names require heat. And heat is built on social, not in silent training rooms. When your buyer is a streaming service hunting minutes watched, the algorithm starts co-authoring your title picture. If that's the incentive, what choices do fighters make? The rational ones. Call it ducking if you need a villain. I call it arithmetic. If popularity outranks position, fighting a hungry number 10 for peanuts is a bad trade unless the company swears that win is a title ticket. So we get slow boils, convenient timelines, and strategic matchmaking. The belt, once the North Star, competes with the payday. Fans feel it. That's why a rankings bump for a favorite without a recent fight sets off alarms. It's also why the BMF belt keeps reanimating whenever the calendar needs sparkle. The message to fighters is consistent. Learn to sell or learn to wait. And waiting often pays better than fighting the wrong name. So can merit still break through? Yes, but you can't be a ghost online. Ilia Topuria didn't tweet his way to a belt. He starched people and talked just enough. Alex Pereira cut the line with a kickboxing backstory the UFC could sell, then proved it the hard way. The path is still paved with wins, but the toll booth takes attention. Learn a language if it connects you to fans. Learn a line if it buys you a microphone. Learn a platform. If you hate that, I get it. I miss the simpler myth too. But the sport is walking and chewing gum. Fight night is merit. Fight week is marketing. You need both. And if that sounds like WWE, it's because the incentives rhyme. No, the UFC isn't scripted. But the business is shameless about creating something to sell. The BMF belt was never pretending to be the WBA of anything. It was a neon sign. Power slap plastered across UFC feeds wasn't a moral compass. It was an A/B test with a controversial hook. You don't have to like it to understand it. The UFC's audience isn't just the do-or-die hardcores. It's families in arenas, celebrities in row 2, and a million phones filming entrances. The company writes for the largest possible crowd. Sometimes that means a O'Malley fast track. Sometimes it means a Covington leap. Sometimes it means your favorite technician gets told to post more. So what do we, the fans, do with that? You can't vote on title shots. You can vote with attention. When a fighter you believe in puts on a clinic, watch the interview, share the clip, comment. If you want old school merit, reward it with new school metrics. That's how you move the needle without throwing a punch. If enough of us do that, the algorithm learns to love the right things. If we don't, the machine will keep choosing the loudest thing in the room. Because why wouldn't it? And now, the uncomfortable truth I promised at the top. A sport on Saturday, a hustle the rest of the week. The UFC isn't broken. It's running exactly as designed. A machine tuned to sell noise, not purity. If you came here looking for saints in gloves and merit in the rankings, I get it. I'm with you when the cage door locks and fists do the talking. But every other day, this isn't a monastery. It's a carnival with contracts. Change the market and you'll change the matchups. But until then, don't clutch your pearls when a one-liner leaps past a win streak or when a belt is handed out like a prop in a stage play. That's not corruption. That's commerce. That's the cost of a sport built on blood, rebuilt on buzz. So remember this, the cage is real, the fists are real, but the ladder is for sale. I'm Reggie Cross for Behind the Lines. If you're feeling the vibe, hit that subscribe, and never forget, hype fades, legacy don't. Peace.
745